teach. Help my voice, Lord, and help my signs to be clear. I pray for this time together. Help us to be good students of this language. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. So, I already asked you. See, I shouldn't talk too much beforehand because now I can't ask you how you're doing. So I already did. So, but I hope you all are doing well. Happy to see you back this week. Have you all been studying? It's a good sign of being studying. Yes.
Not too much this week.
No, not too much.
Slack this week.
Slack this week. It happens. It happens. It happens to the best of us. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and review a little bit. Y'all been pretty good with your ABCs, but let's just put you to the test real quick. Let me see R. N as in Nancy. All right. M as in Mary. F as in flamingo. Very good, very good. Y'all were set on all the other ones.
Okay.
All right, how about Z? And zebra. Yep, Z. Z. H as in hobbit. I don't know. Trying to think of one off the top of my head. Harry. H. Two fingers. H. H. Let's do P as in purple. There we go. P. Very good. It's like a K that fell over. And last we'll do, I don't know. Which one? Trying to think of a challenging one for you all. Let's do, no, X is too easy. Q.
Q.
Very good. Numbers. Number 3. 3. 7. Your ring finger like this. 7. 7. If you want a quick way, just to see and tell if it's 7 or 8, don't look at which finger is down. Look at which fingers are up. So, and you can notice that these two or this one. Quick way to notice if it's 7 or 8. All right, how about 10? Very good, 10. All right, from there we'll run through all of them. 10, 11. 11, come on in. 11. 12. 12. 13. Yep, thumb out, very good. 14. Yep, thumb in. 15. Thumb back out. 16. 16. 17. Yep, make a 7 and you shake it. 18. 19. 20. Ooh, 20. 20 chickens.
Chicken, there it is.
Yep. Also the sign for bird. So, had a discussion about that this past week. Was it about the sign for bird and chicken? They're the same. They're the same. So 20. 20. Some people will sign chicken. I've seen that a few times. Chicken. Most of the time here, I just see chicken and bird, and you just context, or if they really need to, they spell it. Surprisingly, though, those are pretty simple ones to figure out in context. There's really not a lot of situations where you get it confused. If it's a specific kind that's not a chicken, so like if you're going to a restaurant and there's a, duck, there's a different sign. It's duck. But say it's like
Quail.
Quail, there we go. They'll just spell quail and leave this one for chicken. So it's pretty simple. They don't get confused a lot. 21. 21. 21 gun salute. 22. 22. Council 2. 23. Glad we're reviewing these. Make it 3. I know. Sorry, Dad. I'll call you later. Yep. 23. It does. It does. It feels a little weird at first to get used to that one. 23. 24. Make it weird too, and then a 4. 24.
L.
Yeah, it's like an L. That helps you remember it's an L. You don't have to make it as sharp as an L though. So like L, you want to have like a right angle there. You can do it like that. It's not. It doesn't. You'll be understood. But usually you see it more bent like this. But it's fine if that helps you. 24. 25.
This way. Oh, yeah.
25. 25.
He's got
I even tripped you up in the back. 25. 25. It's like, I love you. It's waving goodbye. Or llama. Yeah, llama. Llama. My son loves those books. And the TV show now. There's a TV show on Netflix. Llama. They're kids' books. About a llama who does kids stuff. So, 26. Gonna do the weird 2 and a 6. 26. 27. Weird 2 again and a 7. 27. 28. Weird 2 and an 8. Then 29. Weird 2 and a 9. Then 30.
Easy.
30. 30. Now I told you before, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can be done this way also. That does not apply when you get into the 30s. It's just 30. It's not 30.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Oh, okay. 30. How about, I'll write a number on here, that way I don't. What's that one? It's obviously 49. No, I'm just kidding. It is 44. 44. 44. I'll try to write it a little better. Alright, let's do. Oh, this marker's horrible. That idea was short-lived. 52. Oh, you got that? It's okay. It's all right. Yeah. Close. You don't do that too. But you have the right idea. 52. So 44 was 44. 52. How about 95?
9, 5.
Yep, 95. Remember, 9. 9. 95. Yes.
Can you get 1995 sometimes confused?
1995? Not really. No, you got to open your hands for it. You don't open your hands to do 19 at all. So that opening your hand makes it clearly defined in there. What does get confusing is the sign 99. It's also the sign for French fries. FF or 99.
99 French fries, you're eating them all?
Sure. Why not? So, yeah, so 99 and French fries, it's a little confusing. But, yeah, no, 19 and 95 don't get mixed up a lot. So, 95. Did we talk about 100? No. Good thought. It is not. There's actually a different sign when you get to 100.
Doesn't it have a C in it?
You're thinking 1,000.
Oh, yeah.
So, 1C.
Yeah.
1C.
Why is that?
Haven't had Latin in a long time. The Latin word for 100 starts with a C. It's the reason we have century, 100 years. A centurion in the Roman army was over
Centi.
100 soldiers.
I think it's centi.
Centi, okay, there we go, centi.
Roman numerals.
Is it also a C in Roman numerals? Okay, I'm really rusty on my Roman numerals. You know, all those Roman people I'm not talking to all the time. There's just none of them left. I did take it in high school. I took a year of Latin, but a lot of it just, I don't remember a lot of it. So, I thought it would be
Don't use it,
interesting.
you lose it.
I know, and I didn't use it at all. I used the Spanish a lot more, but still not very good. So, 1 C is 100. So if you're doing 200, 2 C's. 300, 400, 500, 600, exactly what you would think. So 238. 238. 238. 238. And they're all regular after that. When you get to 1,000, 1,000. 1,000.
So you just can't do 238, you'd actually have to do the 2 and to make it 100. If you just did 238, they wouldn't think it's 238?
No, they wouldn't, in their mind it wouldn't be 238, it would be 238.
Oh.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
just like when we say it, we don't say 238. I mean, we do if we're being clear, and Def will do that also. Like, I do this with my son a lot. He's still learning time. I'll get you 1 second. He's still learning time. So, you know, in our heads we go 1:35. Right, if we're looking at the clock.
Right.
But with him, I have to be like, when it says 1:35. So if we're trying to be exact, but it's just, you need the C in there.
Okay.
I'll talk about an exception in a second, but let me get this question here.
When you do 1,000, I couldn't see what you had in your fingers
1,000.
up.
These fingers stop. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. You can even shorten it and do 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. You don't see 6,000. They just go 6,000. They don't abbreviate. They don't shorten it after that. So now there is an exception with the 100s. You can if it's only the 100. If it's only 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. You can shorten it and go 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So if you just want to shorten it. But you don't really see people sign 533. You just don't see it. You see 533. So, but you can shorten it. Or you can keep this for emphasis. So if you're saying like, you know, I took my dog to the vet and it cost me $300. Like that. So that, you know, it'd be for emphasis. And then did we talk about the other exceptions? The 67, 68, 69?
I think so.
A little bit. Let me get that marker from you actually.
Stealing the ladies' mark.
It is dry erase, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so these 6 numbers, they are an exception. So you flip them. So it's 67, 68, 69, 78, 79, and then 89.
You're just doing the numbers with flipping them.
Yep,
So it's not that hard. It's just.
it's not. It's just an extra rule to remember, just to make your lives more complicated. So,
It's not.
but just those. And if the pattern is when you're going from one number to the next number up on your fingers. It doesn't go down like you just do 76. Like you're doing 67. My theory is that this rule originated so it was easier to tell the difference between like 76 and 67. So that's my theory. I have absolutely no proof for that. It could be something else entirely, but this is the exceptions right here.
Could you do that again, Cody?
Yep, 67.
So
So you're going to start with a 6 on the bottom,
Yes.
flip it up to a 7. 68, 69, and then we do 78, 79, and then 89. Now, and just so we're clear here, if you're signing to a deaf person, you do sign 78. They're gonna understand you. They're gonna understand you. It's just not the right way to do it. It's not proper ASL.
That's all regions.
Pretty much, yeah. I have not found one that doesn't do that. So I'm not confident enough to say that they all do it all over, but I haven't found one that doesn't. So, you know, I don't know. Now that I say that, I'm probably going to meet a new deaf person this week, and they're going to sign it different, or there'll be some deaf person who I've known forever, and then they'll sign it different. I'll be like, wait, you sign it like that? And they'll be like, oh yeah, everybody in this area does that. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll have to come back next week and eat crow, but that's okay. So, I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong. It's rare, but I don't mind it. But those are exceptions. So that's a lot of numbers. Let's kind of shift focus now, because y'all will be like, you remember that TV show Numbers, where he would like solve crimes with math, and you know, like they'd show him thinking in the background, there'd be all those numbers. Imagine, you know, I don't want you guys' mind to be like that. So, let's shift focus a little bit. We'll focus on some signs. What's name? Name. Oh, we're gonna review first. You can't just jump right into it.
You're gonna sign your name, weren't you?
We'll do a little hopping around reviewing. How about no? No.
No, man.
No. Duck. No. Bad. Bad. There's a bug. Bugs are bad, so we squish them.
And how many
One time I was teaching in class, and there was a bug on someone's desk, and thankfully it was not the kind. There's two kinds of students. There's the students when they see a bug, they're just like, ugh. And there's the students when they see a bug, they're like, ah, and it's the end of the world, and then the whole class is messed up. You know, people like diving out of the way. I had one time there was a bug, and it was right next to a student like that, and she screamed, and a girl dove out of the way, and she hops up, and she goes, "What was it?" And I'm like, "You don't even know what it is. You're just diving." She goes, "People scream, I go. Like I don't care." So, but yeah. But one time I'm just teaching, there was a bug, and I saw it, and I just kept on teaching, and my students were like, "You just killed the bug!" I'm like, "It's a bug, of course." So it was just a really funny moment. I had students all day coming up to me, "Did you really kill a bug during class?" Like, I squished a bug. Yes, like I don't understand the big deal. Anyways, bad. See what y'all do, you get me telling stories, and it doesn't take a while.
Story time.
So, how?
Wait.
How? How? Or how? Deaf. Hearing. Which? Please. Thank you. What?
Well, yeah, what?
Let's do daughter. Ah. Yeah, this right here. Daughter. 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 Yeah, I was hoping my daughter would be born right after my wife's birthday, because my son is the day after my birthday. And I thought it'd be funny if we had our daughter the day after my wife, or my son's the day after my birthday. It'd be funny if my daughter was born the day after my wife's birthday, but it didn't work out. My wife's birthday was last Monday. Still no baby. You say what? His due. Really? The 29th? Oh, cool. It's my wife's birthday, so. But no dice. So we're still hoping. We're still hoping. So due date's next week. So come. I know. Yeah, the 10th is the due date. So it's gotta come soon. Let's see here. But daughter. Female sign, male sign. So just like dad. Dad, male signs. Dad, mom, daughter, son, etc., etc. Age/old. How do you sign someone is 6 years old? Old 6. 6, or you can even just condense it. Hold 6. Hold 6.
What, you don't do the number and then old?
Nope, you flip it. You do old and the number.
Okay.
Yep. That way you're showing it's an age. Otherwise, you see the number and in your mind, as you get better with it, in your mind you see the number and your mind is going, what is that number related to here? Is that a date? Is that an age? Is that a phone number? Are they starting to tell me their Wi-Fi password? I mean, I don't know. Because the number's got no context. So you start with the age and then 6. All right, last week's review, who? Who? Where? Where? Here. Here. There. Yeah, you can point like that too, you're fine. There, there. Yeah. This one, I don't do it with the pointer finger. This, I'm not picking on you or anything. Just, you can also point and go there, there. This finger is often used for the sign for far also. So if I'm saying something's far, and so it's just, it gets a little ambiguous if you're saying it's there. Is it like far over there? You know, a little difference in the facial expression can change the meaning there. So it's just, for me, it's just more clear just to go there, there. Because this is never used for far. So just there. If it is far, or if you know you want to get the real facial expressions, if it's really far. So yeah, we'll talk about facial expressions more later, but they are such an important part of sign language. Which, have we talked about where you're supposed to look when you're watching someone sign? Have we discussed this?
Yes.
I'm hearing yes, and I'm getting a lot of really confused looks. All right, when you're watching a person sign, the temptation is to watch their hands. So, because that makes sense, right? That's what they're doing. You actually want to watch their face. Because our eyes are not very good at doing this whole number while we're tracking their hands. Because even if you don't notice it, that's what your eyes are doing. Is they're moving, they're refocusing, they're bouncing around. Your eyes are going to get tired. So what you want to do is you want to watch their face. And that'll also help you catch all their facial expressions. And you want to watch the eyes, you want to just watch the eyes in your peripheral. And it'll still make sense, I promise. So, but try it, it'll help you. It's a good habit to start now. So, watch the face, not just the hands. Because you'll miss a lot of information. Because there's a lot of things that the face will change for the whole meaning. You know, there, far as an example, but also just shaking your head no will negate a sign. So for example, touch. Don't touch. So if you're just watching my hands and not seeing my face at all, you're going to miss that whole, you're going to get the opposite message. So watch the face. There. Home. 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 School. Hey, come on in. Does anyone need books? I thought I asked in the beginning. Yes. Do someone need a book? Pass that back, please. All right. Anyone else need a book? I have one. Someone came in and it just like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that. Anyone else? I'll just stop my lesson and do some housekeeping. It's okay.
You need a book? Yes, if you have.
Oh, yes! Have one. I got like 5 up here.
Thank you.
We're in lesson 5, by the way, if I hadn't said that. Yep, absolutely. So when we're reviewing lesson 4, school, so it is homeschool. Church. You have this sign for rock. Rock, remember the verse? On this rock I will build my church. Church, which is really a fun verse, like when you study out the Greek and stuff, because Peter's name, Petros, it can mean rock also. And so it's kind of, Jesus is making a pun off of Peter's name. So it's the first dad joke. Right there in the Bible. So, church. Live or live. You can also do it with A's. Sometimes the deaf will assign it alive. To me, is it fresh? So we did talk about this, right? Okay. I thought we did. So they might say, is the coffee alive? It means is it fresh? Now I have to open it up. It's gonna be okay. So is it fresh? Is it alive? Work. Work. You want to do them like this, with both of your palms will be facing down. Work. Work. And now you wouldn't actually sign homework though. They just shorten it to homework. Homework. So interesting little fact. Homework.
Cody, can you do home again, because I'm not
Home.
doing it right again.
Let me see it. Let me see how you do it.
So I was sliding my chin up with the,
You want it like this?
But-
No, you want to just tap them. Tap your chin and then tap
so
your
isn't
ear.
that the same for hearing or deaf?
Deaf is with your finger.
Oh,
Deaf.
finger, so okay, that's
Yeah.
why I tried to make them different. So-
Yes. Deaf, home. Now it does get a little confusing when you get to dorm, but that's not in our lessons. I know. We won't worry about that one though. Home. That's not me, is it? Yeah. Okay, cool. As long as it's not me. Home. Friend. Friend. Because friends hang out. Not to be confused with possum. Friend. Friend. You can also be a good friend. Good friend. And then best friend is best friend. Alright, and now we're in lesson 5. Woo! We're covering a lot of material. It adds up. I know it's only a few signs every week, but it adds. It adds. Yep. It adds up. You can also do it this way too. Although that's also gain weight.
I like that.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll stick with this one. So, slow. And you want to do this sign a little bit slow, obviously. Slow. Now, if you do it with an L, it's long. Long. So you want to make sure you use all your fingers. Slow. All right, very good. Again. And I picked a wonderful day to teach you the sign for 1,000 earlier. So let me explain the difference. I should have thought that through better. 1,000 is just straight on. 1,000. Again, it's got more of like an arch. Again. Sometimes it's a very subtle arch, but there's usually a little arch in it. Again, it's usually not 1,000. So, and also 1,000, your fingers usually point up, not always, but you'll do 1,000. Again, and again. So you can say someone comes up to you and they start signing, and they go, oh, your name, what? What's your name? Let me see. Yeah, I put you on the spot. All right, very good. I didn't even give you time to mentally prepare for that one. So then you sit there, oh, my name, you go, oh, your name, what? And they spell their name, and they sign something you've never seen before. And now you know the signs for slow, again. So, making sure you all have the important things. Slow, again. So, okay, slow, again. Say they finger spelled something and you missed part of it. What the normal way to respond to that, what they'll be expecting if you miss something, is for you to sign the last letter that you understood. So we'll just use spell as an example. You've got SP and you're like, what was that? You go P, and then they'll give you the rest of the word. So, again, so slow, and again. Any questions so far? No? Okay. All right. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Isn't that the same thing for college?
College. They are similar. Excuse me. That's right, this is the class where he said, it's like they're just taking all that money right off the top. Excuse me. So, this brings us to an important cultural point, is say you are in a hallway or something to that effect, or a room, you have a deaf person here and a deaf person here, and they are signing back and forth. What is the right thing to do? So you just stay here forever. You never move again. You're stuck. No, you do. You are absolutely correct. The right thing to do is you just go right through. Honestly, they won't even notice you were there. They are focusing on each other. If you just, you're good. You can, if you want to be polite, you could just go, excuse me, but just walk through and do it confidently and just keep going. Which you don't want to do. And what a lot of people do is they'll see two deaf people or just people signing in general. They'll be over there signing, and they'll go, hang on! You don't want to do that. You don't even want to do the whole like, because then you just look like you're a duck. And now you're interrupting the conversation anyways. You know, you're trying not to, and they're just sitting there like, why are they walking like a duck? So you don't want to do this whole number here. Just, excuse me, and just keep on going. They won't even be bothered. They won't even notice you were there. So someone will ask them later, hey, did you see that person? They'll go, what? Didn't see anybody. So, just seriously, walk right on through. Don't worry about it. They won't even notice. Now, if you do need their attention, I don't think we've talked about how to get a deaf person's attention yet. This is fun. Yeah. Hey, look at me.
No.
Not needed. It's also a bad idea to throw things. And if it's something that can go into the eye, it's even worse. They get deaf people for very obvious reasons. If there's anything thrown that can go into an eye, they get very, like, you can't do that. You got to calm down now. You could put out someone's eye. You got to be careful. They get really like, because if something goes into their eye, they're already down there hearing. Like, they don't hear anything, so they lose their sight. That's really bad for them. So they get really, like my son in deaf church, he loves to make paper airplanes. And he'll throw them out here in the lobby and stuff after deaf church, sometimes during deaf church. I get on this sometimes. And so he'll throw these paper airplanes and stuff, but when there's deaf people around, they get onto him so much about it. It's little paper airplanes, but they get onto him, and he's just like, sorry, and just goes on with this thing. But they're very careful with the eyes. So don't throw anything at a deaf person unless you know them really well, and then you can get away with it. But otherwise, just don't do it. The right thing to do is you just walk up to them and just tap them on the shoulder. That's all you got. Just tap them on, just tap them on the shoulder. Yep.
I know there's some people who don't like being touched. Is there like?
You don't see that with the deaf, especially just on the shoulder or elbow. They don't care.
Yeah.
So it's what's expected. Like it's the cultural expectation. It's what you're going to do.
It's better for you to go up to the person from the front to tap.
But that's not always possible with the deaf.
Yeah.
So, because say someone's walking this way and you're trying to catch up to them, and you're like, hey. Because what are you going to do? Run all the way around and cut them off? Stop! Right there! Halt! That's not going to work. So, sometimes you can't come up to them from the front. But pretty much you're never going to freak out a deaf person when you tap them on the shoulder, tapping them on the elbow. And that's where you want to tap them, shoulder or elbow. So just right in this area, nowhere else. You don't want to be like, smacking them in the head or anything.
Tables get fun when you're sitting at the
table.
table.
I'll get the table in a second. So, but you just want to tap them on the shoulder, and then they'll be like, oh, hey, what's up? So yelling doesn't work. Just don't yell. It's just not worth it. Yeah. Hey! Doesn't work with the deaf. So just want to tap them on the shoulder. Now, if there's two people talking, and you tap one on the shoulder and they ignore you, get used to it. Because that's for the deaf, whereas us hearing people, our tendency would be if, I'm talking to someone comes up to me and they're like, oh hey, I'm like, oh hey, yeah, what's up? I'll just turn around and start talking to them and there's no, they're fine. For the deaf, it's different. For the deaf, to interrupt this, to stop this conversation would be rude most of the time. There are exceptions to that. If I'm talking to a deaf person and my kid comes running up to me, they're fine. Like they're just like, oh, okay, sure. So, but for the most part, this conversation is more important. They'll wait till this conversation is done, and then they'll turn around and go, oh yeah, what's going on? So just know that if you go up to them and tap them on the shoulder and they ignore you, just be patient. If it's really important, then you're good to tap them again, tap them harder, you know. If it's really that important, look at, like, if it's that important, but it's usually not. I can't think, there's only been a few times that something is, yeah, a fire.
Emergency, yeah.
An emergency, someone fell, something like that, you know, but for the most part, it's not that important. You just tap them on the shoulder and wait. So yeah, it's, now if you're at a table, then it gets really easy then. You just, and they'll feel the table. You feel it? See, it works. You just tap on the table. It's that simple. You don't want to be obnoxious, like, you know, like, don't do that. But you just want to just tap on the table. You'll get their attention. You know, if it's, if say you're far apart, say I'm over here, and say we'll say that that Ethan is deaf. And I want to get his attention. I'll go, hey, Shannon, can you tap Ethan on the shoulder? Just like that. And then she'll point. She just did it. You point at the person. So you tap them and be like, over there. And they'll be like, oh, okay. Well, that had to happen on Sunday, actually.
I say we do that all the time
Yeah,
at
it
church
happens
with
all
you.
the time, but it was really funny on Sunday because there was a deaf guy walking away and a deaf guy who was up here in the lobby. It happened like right here in this building. And there's another guy over by the kitchen, and he wanted to get his attention. And so I'm like, hey, he wants you. And the guy goes, I don't want him. I was like, okay. I tried.
Sorry, too bad.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But that's the right way to get a deaf person's attention. So just don't throw stuff. Don't be obnoxious. Just please, yelling doesn't work. Don't be that person, you know, who's like, you know, the person says, I'm deaf, and you go, oh, you're deaf, so I'll speak up for you, okay? Can you understand me now? Just don't, please. If you do, don't tell them you learned sign language from me. You did not learn sign language here if you did that, or if you do that now. So you've been educated, you know better. So, excuse me, that was a lot for excuse me. Excuse me. But it's important stuff to know. You're going to be around the deaf, you need to know how to get their attention. You need to know, just walk right through the conversation. You're okay. Go right through. So, excuse me. Mean. Not mean as in the thing you use in math. And not mean as in like, that person's so mean to me. But mean as in like, what does that mean? Mean. So it's kind of weird. You start here, and you flip it over. Mean. Mean. So we'll go back to our hypothetical conversation with a deaf person. You see them sign something, you know, you spelt your name so well, and you see them sign something, and you don't know what's going on, so you'll say, you know, that sign, what does that mean? And you use your facial expressions. What does that mean? You didn't go, means what? You don't even really need that, but you can go, means what? Or what does that mean?
It's not what does that mean? It's, that mean what?
Yeah, mean what? Mean what? Or you could just sign means with a face. So if they use, let me think of a good example. They use this sign, and you go, like that. This is firefighter, by the way. So, mean. What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't understand. What do you mean? So, mean. The other kind of mean is mean. Oh, mean?
Yeah.
Mean. Starts at your nose. Mean. Some people do it with their hands open. Mean. Mean. Is that mean or mean? Okay, I do it with my fingers. Mean. That's, you said mean or mean? Mean. I've seen it both ways. I learned it just mean, so it's just a habit that stuck. Mean, but you can do mean also with all of your fingers. Mean. Mean. And the other, just if you're really interested, mean. Or, wait, yeah, that's average, that's right. Mean. Mean. I'm bad at math, it's been a while. I used to be good at math. There used to be a time. Actually, I loved interpreting math classes. That was some of the most fun because it was so. I didn't really need to understand what was going on to interpret it right, because especially when they're rattling off a formula, I'm just like x over b divided by y, and I just, as long as I'm interpreting what they're saying, I don't have to understand the answer to it. I just have to, just interpret the parts and I'm set. So I enjoyed math classes. They were fun. So, mean. I almost did this one. Mean. Have. Use all your fingers. Have. Now, not to be confused with animal. Animal and tired. Have.
Shower.
Do you have a box? No, I'm just kidding. Have a way. Do I have a road? Which one? Way? Road? Which
Have.
one?
You have, right?
What are you using this for? That's with me. Trying to figure out which one to use this for.
You.
Okay, you. Oh, you're putting them together. I understand now. You gotta be careful with that though. So that's also road or way.
I don't know.
No. See, you confuse me. Communication breakdown. So, guys, communicate. That's fun. One of the funniest uses of that signing like that I saw, this is flirt, and they were talking about a certain person. They were like, that was pretty funny. Yeah, heart. That's a good one too. This one was so funny because I had never thought of using it like that, and I was like, that's really funny, especially because I knew the person they were talking about who fit really perfectly. It was really awkward. So, have. Want. My daughter, she's got this blanket. It's got these tags all over it. My mother-in-law made it. And it's got these little ribbons that's like loops around as they go down all over the blanket. And she loves that thing. Like, she can't sleep without it. And she grabs the ends and she wants her blanket. It's the idea there. She's pulling it in close. You want it. You want. Now the opposite of that is don't want. Don't want. So you're pushing it away. I don't want that. My son, he's at that age where he's a real picky eater. I don't want to get started with that, but he's just so weird what he eats, and it's kind of weird. He does not eat any sweets, none. He won't eat sweets. It's good until you want to enjoy ice cream together as a family, and you have the one kid over there just like, ew, and just doing whatever he wants to do. Now my daughter, you get any ice cream around her, she's like a bird. She's like, no. But my son, no sweets, nothing. There's a lot of things he doesn't eat. He's real picky right now. So he puts some food in front of him, doesn't want it, pushes it away. So you have want, and it's not in your book, but we're still going to add it in there. Don't want. So want, don't want. Like. You're going to start with a 5, and you're going to go to an 8. Yep. You want to make sure you go to an 8. Because if you use all your fingers, that's the sign for white, like the color. So, like. 258. 258 is a different thing. That's later in this book. I actually have 258 in here. So 258. We'll talk about the sign interesting in a second. Like. So now what Jacob's back there talking about, 258, this is the sign for interesting. Interesting with two hands. You double like it. Interesting. If you have to do it one hand, it's just interesting. But the real sign is 2 hands. Interesting. So, but if you notice a 5 and then an 8, right? Well, the sign for very is very. So it's got a 2, a 5, and an 8. So some deaf people go 258. Very interesting. It's another little idiom in sign language. 258. It's
And
very
that means
interesting.
interesting?
Well,
No.
very interesting.
Oh.
Very, it's a
very
slang term.
5-8.
Yeah, two.
Very?
Yeah, just 258. Very interesting, 258.
So you're going 2, 5, 8.
Yeah, because it does your handshakes are a 2, a 5, and then an 8. But for our purposes, like 5 to an 8. Like. Now, if you don't like something, you're going to start with an 8. And you're going to flick it away. So you like it? You don't like it? You don't like it. All right. No. Not this no. Different no. No. And I usually tap it. You can't just go. Jake's back there. I know. I know. No. Now, if you don't know something, happens to me rarely. Don't know. Don't know. You turn it away. Don't know. So these signs are a little bit unique. You have want and don't want. Like and don't like. And know and don't know. So a little bit unique. Need. Need. So you're going to make an X. You're just going to bounce it. Need. You can't do it once. Or you just do need. Need. And the difference is in the intensity. So it's saying like, the difference is, I need to use the bathroom. Or I need to use the bathroom. Two very different meanings there. So, need. Need. It's also the sign for should. Should. The only difference in ASL between need and should is intensity. So, need, should. And there's a really fine line in there. I wouldn't get too stuck on which is need and which is should. You're giving me a weird look.
I've seen it for deserve as well.
It could be, depending on the context. Normally for deserve, I sign deserve like you earned it. But deserve, you could say, I'm trying to think of a good example. Say like, that person deserves a gold star. Just thinking my mind was all negative examples. I'm like, that kid deserves, I'll stop there. But I'll think of, that person deserves a gold star. You can say they need a gold star. It still makes sense in sign language. But I usually sign earns for deserves or worthy of. They deserve, they're worthy of. Usually you see that in church. God deserves our praise. He's worthy of our praise. So we're getting into the whole idea though of concepts though. Concepts. Because if you haven't figured this out yet, ASL you're not dealing with word for word for word for word here. You need to start thinking concept for concept for concept. Because it's not going to be the same. Not everything's going to match up the same. So you got to start thinking, what does that mean? Hey, there's one of our words. Mean. And then go from there. So I have a theory. I have lots of theories. I figured you'd learn this about myself. We have lots of theories. But really a word, so you have a concept. And then we use words to express that concept. So I say the word cat. All of you have some kind of image that pops up in your head. Most of you all probably have a little house cat, maybe a tiger, something. You have some kind of image pop into your mind when I say cat. So, but if I say, Spanish and I say gato, that person's going to have that same image pop up in their mind, right? Because it's still a cat, it's just a different name. So we're using different words to express the same concept. So we do that in sign language too, so we have this concept here and then we cover it with our signs. That's how we express it. So need and should, when you think about it, they're really the same kind of concept. That something ought to happen. Ought, there's another one. So that something ought to happen. Should, probably good idea. Need, no, we got to do this. So how ASL uses the same sign, just with a different intensity. So that's kind of going way off on a rabbit trail. But need. And then a very important sign to know, annoy. Annoy. Like a stake being driven right into your temple. Annoy. Annoy. Your middle finger. This hand shape here is used for a lot of feeling signs. It's actually the sign for feel. But it's used for a lot of those feeling signs. Sick, excited, thrilled, annoyed, what's up. So it's used for a lot of those signs. So watch out for this hand shape. It'll trick you up real easily. But annoy. Someone's just driving you crazy. You're
All
annoyed.
your fingers up.
Yep, all of your fingers up except the middle one. Middle one's down. Annoy. So let's run back through these quickly and we'll have time for questions if anyone has any. Slow. Again. Excuse me. Mean. Mean. Have. Want. Like. No. No, some of you didn't know. Need. Annoy. Do we have any questions? Annoy you? Me? No questions at all. Even things with just maybe a word you heard this week and you're like, how do you sign that? Do we have any of those? Yes.
Expressive and receptive. Can you show me those?
Expressive,
Expressive.
receptive.
Receptive, thank
Yep.
you.
In sign language, a lot of times we talk about your expressive skills and your receptive skills. Expressive is your ability to produce the signs. Receptive is your ability to read the signs. So receptive, this is actually the sign for like listen. So you do it at your eyes. So you're listening with your eyes. Yes.
Just out of curiosity, what's baby?
Baby. Yeah,
Or-
baby. Yeah, that's baby like sweetheart. They're like, hey baby, how you doing? Yeah.
So for annoying, is it this or is it that?
Annoy. You twist it back and forth. Yep, you gotta drive that stake in there. So, like jail in the Bible. I actually, I think one of the pastors, I think it was while Pastor Dan was gone, mentioned that story. Or was that you?
Oh, I interpreted it,
You
yeah.
interpreted that. I think it was Pastor Rich.
Rob.
Might have been Rob.
Rob.
I actually know a pastor who named his daughter that after that story. It's really funny. He's like, I always love the story where she just sticks the stake through his head, so I named my daughter that. I had a question over here. I didn't see you saying that.
Yeah,
Yes.
just do that, what does it mean again? Okay, so you don't put the walked in there.
You don't have to. If you're just asking what does it mean, you can just ask with your face. What does it mean?
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You can't put the what in there if you want. Up to you. Anyone else?
But it's still, if you did do that, it would still mean what, right? Because
Yes.
the WH goes at the end.
Yes. It still means what? You're still good. Still means the same thing, just a different way to say it. Just like I can say, my name is Cody, or I can say, I'm Cody. They mean the exact same thing, it's just a different way. Same thing in sign language, they mean the same thing, just a different way to say it. Anyone else? All right, in that case, we're going to pray and get out of here so the next class can start filing in. Dear Lord, we love you. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. Thank you for these people here ready to learn this language. Help us to be diligent students. We love you so much. It's in Jesus' name. Amen. You all are dismissed.